Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, the United States of America prepares drone strikes inside Mexico. Are the United States of America allowed to use its military to strike inside Mexico? Are the United States of America allowed to use its military to strike inside Canada? Why? Why not? Well, if you tell me for good reasons, the answer is no, they can't. Why? Mexico, as Canada, are independent sovereign countries. That would mean a declaration of war. Correct? Correct. Did Mexico or Canada attack us? No. All right. Are some of Mexico's government's policies affecting us in a way that we are allowed to strike Mexico? But if we strike Mexico based on that, does it mean that we are at war with Mexico? What if Mexico says, no, you can't? Well, what can they do? Are we at war with Mexico? Well, Trump administration weighs drone strikes on Mexican cartels. So that is striking inside Mexico. Now, if you say, whoa, yeah, that's kind of allowed. If you say, yeah, that's allowed, yeah, the cartels are criminal organizations. Criminal organization, correct? Correct. Now, if let's say tomorrow the Trump administration, the American administration, the government, says that Gigi is a terrorist and needs to be eliminated because he is, let's say, operating in Germany. Can we use drone strikes to eliminate that target that we designated as bad dude in Germany? Can we do this with our military over another country's territory? Even if you say, well, Emil, if you don't do it, then we're going to do it. Okay. Well, remember Turkey. Turkey, Mr. Erdogan. He had a problem with the cleric. The cleric died a few months ago. And a lot of countries consider certain organizations operating or being legal in Canada and in the United States of America, like the Indian government, or even other governments, like as I said, Turkey, consider certain organizations and certain people as terrorists. But they are okay, and they are actually in the United States of America. They are here, not considered as they consider them. So if that means if we can do this to, let's say, that bad dude in Germany and use our drone to strike there, who's legally living in Germany, that means the Chinese or, let's say, the Indians or the Turks can also hit inside the United States of America and Canada if we are to be just and true. We are not. We are not. So, what do you think the Mexicans are doing about that? I'm going to show you the Jewish president of Mexico, as Zelensky. It seems like they don't trust us anymore. They need these guys in charge of us. In Trump's situation, he's got the, I can't remember his name, but I will find him for you. He leads that department. I will show you. I will show you. And nevertheless, he keeps people around him to make sure that the investment will put out. You know what I mean? All right. The economy department is, no, it is not economy. Let me just find a guy for you. Yeah, I found him. His name is Howard Lutnick, and he is the United States Secretary of Commerce. Just so you have a name and a face. This guy, okay? So he is right there. You see him a lot of times standing behind Mr. Trump and being very helpful to Mr. Trump. Not only, you had Blinkenstein doing the foreign policy of the United States of America. You had Madeleine Albright doing the United States of America and so on. You had the other guy, what's his name? The foreign minister, the Secretary of State, born in Germany. What the hell is his name? Which is the two brothers, barely speaking English, worse than I. But nevertheless, my point is this. These guys are keeping these guys next to us. Now they don't trust us. They put them in charge of all of us. So the next one is going to be what? Senator Lieberman, who died. Oh, he was the vice president on the ticket of Al Gore, wasn't he? Anyway, the crap. All right, so what do we have? Let's see Mexico's answer. Los Angeles Times. Mexico warns against potential U.S. drone strikes on cartels. And here she is. Her name is Claudia Sheinbaum. Right here. Okay, well, she's Jewish. Nothing wrong with that. But I want an Iranian or a Palestinian in charge of Israel and Mossad as a president or a prime minister. You know, if they're true with diversity is our strength pushed on our nations, why not on their nation? You know why. Well, anyway, because diversity is our strength. So she said, no, you cannot, and warns the United States of America. With what exactly? Let's see what she says. Right there. Mexican president. Again, Zelensky is the Ukrainian president. She is the Mexican president. All right. Says that Mexico, not the president of Mexico. Anyway, she is a Mexican, whatever, man. Would defend its sovereignty against violations by land, sea, or air. Trump has also charged that Mexico is essentially run by the cartels. Trump will not touch Miss Sheinbaum. She will not touch that. I guarantee you that. Mr. Sheinbaum. Miss Sheinbaum is untouchable by any of Goyims. I mean, oh my God. Gentiles. All right. So we are as we are. So obviously she does the right thing. He said, you can't do this. I will protect my Mexicans against the Americans, okay? But let me show you something else and you tell me. I made two videos, one on August 1st, the other one on August 28th, 2022, long time ago, right? Boom, maybe I show myself too. What does it say here? US drones violate sovereign Afghanistan's airspace, right? And it says that Taliban calls Pakistan out, another proxy war. And here, CIA drone kills al-Qaida leader in sovereign Afghanistan. Respect Ukrainian sovereignty. Now, I'm not defending those guys, but those guys were designated by the United States as terrorists. So what about Mr. Erdogan's claim that the cleric, I can't remember his name, who died, was a terrorist? But he lived in the United States of America just fine. That means, according to this logic and this new rules-based world order the American used to talk about, now no more. They don't talk about it anymore. The Turks were entitled to do this. Remember the claim, the accusation coming from the Canadians that the Indians' services operating on the territory of Canada killed that Sheikh. Remember Sheikh in who was a guy who wanted to break up India, and these guys claimed that the Indians went and took care of him inside of Canada. That's kind of like the same thing the Americans did. The guy was living in Canada legally, and that's their thing, but he was designated as a threat to India and so on. Designated as a, try to break up the country and so on. So those guys came, the Canadians were upset, but the Americans are doing that to Afghanistan. And not only Afghanistan, let me show you more. This is the guy, right? PBS News. This is the guy, which, as I said, I don't know. I don't care. That's the guy. I don't care. My point is not who these guys kill. It's someone who we designate as such. That means, and it's okay in those countries. They protect them. That's our reason. But other countries are allowed to use the same logic or reasoning? No. You know why? We're going to punch them in the face. So it's not about what's right, what's logical, what's legal. It's about subjective interest. So here you have this one. CIA drone strikes and kills al-Qaida leader. There you go. That's the guy who got blown up. And again, US conducts airstrikes in Syria in response to deadly UAV attack. By the title you said, of course, Emil. If someone attacks me in the street, I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to fuck them up, man. Yeah, but what if you are in his house trying to rape his wife and steal his money? And he catches you and he beats you up. How about that context? That's exactly what's over here. The Americans, what happened here? Earlier today, a US contractor, this guy was just doing business. Military contractor, they don't say it, was killed, and 5 US service members, this military, and 1 additional US contractor, so obviously they were military contractors, were wounded after a one-way unmanned aerial vehicle struck a maintenance facility. Maintenance, they were just maintaining. What exactly and where? On a coalition base, military base, near Hasakah in northeastern Syria. So these innocent people in a coalition base, military base, located in the sovereign country of Syria, were struck. What were they doing over there? Remember the example I gave you with someone being in my house trying to do harm? That's exactly what the US troops and the contractors are doing in Syria. Syria at that time, March 23, 2023, was and still is a sovereign independent country. At that time with a government. What were those guys doing in Syria? Illegally occupying Syria. So they were struck because they were committing something illegal. Their deployment occupying northeastern of Syria. So when they were struck, we got upset, self-defense, because the history starts only when we were struck. Don't talk about anything about why we were over there. We were struck, man. I was beaten up. Don't talk about inside this guy's house trying to do hanky-panky. You know what I mean? No. Now this is kindergarten level. And we had to retaliate. That's the title by these guys right here. And this comes from U.S. Department of Defense. So see, U.S. conducts airstrikes in Syria in response. We respond, man. We defend ourselves. And then, let me show you here. A list of U.S. strikes in Iraq and Syria after, again, fatal drone attack in Jordan. Again, we are, in Jordan. And this is from February 6, 2024. U.S. bombs Syria targets after deadly drone attack, BBC. March 6. We always respond, but we are in their illegal location. So if I trespass on someone's land and the guy says, Gigi, get out. And I say, I'm going to just take some of your property here and I'm going to build something here. I'm going to extract the oil on your property. Gigi, warning fire shot. Boom, and Gigi gets wounded, maybe in his eye. What do you do? And then Gigi calls, Mikey, Tommy, come over. He hit me. This is how things are. And now the Americans are saying, we got some bad guys in Mexico, which I agree, those cartels should be boom, boom. But still, are we using the international law? Do we agree to that? And remember, if we can do it based on they harm us, how about we harm them? Like, I don't know, a lot of people on this planet can have a lot of grievances about being harmed by the United States of America's government. So, can they come here and detonate something or use something? And when they do that, are we again responding? Yes, responding. And we are attacked. September 11, what did that happen? Why did that happen? They hate our freedoms. Yeah, man, they hate our freedoms. We knew. They were telling you this because it's illogical. You know, those 100 virgins over there, they're crazy. I don't defend them because I don't believe in that narrative. I believe in someone else's narrative, non-narrative reality, celebrating those attacks. Why? Because the United States after that picked their enemies in the Middle East to and now it's Iran's turn. Well, Miss Scheinbaum will make sure that she's untouchable. And Trump will go back to his little corner when Scheinbaum is going to call AIPAC. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.